Doing it a cappella, I recommend, and doing it smaller than a half step. So instead of just until you get there. It won't happen that fast if you don't have vibrato right this moment and you try to do that.
My number one tip is just pretend like you're a silly opera singer.
Yeah. Yes. Get out of your head about it.
Yeah.
And just get into your body.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Just like Hey Voxstar, and welcome to From Singer to Artist. I'm Lara Chapman, award-winning singer and songwriter turned viral vocal coach and the host of this show. At VoxTape Studios, we help singers from all over the world level up their voices by teaching them the 3 fundamental skills all singers need: technique, awareness, and artistry. Whether you're looking to go pro or just develop your voice for fun, my team and I are here to help. Check the link in the description to book your first session or grab some of our other resources. Alrighty, are you ready? Let's get started. Even if you don't want to be an opera singer, it's probably a good idea to work on your vibrato a little bit, unlock it, and control it, and all of the above. And to talk about vibrato today, I have with me Coach Emily from our team.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. Thanks for being a coach, and thanks for being here in the studio. I love it.
Yeah.
So this beautiful day, we're going to be talking about vibrato. What is vibrato? How do you do vibrato? When to do vibrato? And the different kinds of vibrato.
Yes.
So let's maybe first start with the definition of vibrato.
With what it is. So I'll just make a sound for you.
Yes, let's do it.
Right? Vibrato is as opposed to that would be classified as a straight tone, that second one. So vibrato is that vibrating sound where we're alternating technically between 2 pitches, but so close together that it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a shake in the voice. A little there's different kinds. But anyways, okay, I was going to say like a flutter, but
that's a kind of vibrato.
That's a kind of vibrato, yes. So that I just learned about. I didn't know about that before. Emily literally just told me that. I was like, oh, I didn't know there's different kinds of vibrato. But anyways, it's that shake in your voice. And so basically it happens when you are sustaining a note. So when you're sustaining a note, meaning like you're holding a note out, you basically have 2 options. You can either do straight tone or you can add that shake, that vibrato in your voice to just give it that fuller, bigger kind of effect, right?
Yeah, it shows up a lot in classical music and musical theater, and I think it adds a little sparkle, a little like you said, rounding of the tone, and it adds a little bit of pizzazz. Pizzazz makes the sound feel alive.
Yes. So in classical music, it's everywhere. On every single note there's vibrato, right? And then in musical theater, it's not on every single note.
It's not on every single note. It often goes straight tone and end with vibrato. Note off.
I totally learned that in musical theater school. I remember that, and I still use it sometimes in pop songs too.
Oh, it shows up.
Yeah, so we have musical theater, right? And then also contemporary music. And in contemporary music, it's definitely not everywhere all the time, which makes it so interesting to me that a lot of singers are obsessed with learning vibrato.
Yes.
Where I'm like, actually, it's not that important.
Yeah, you'll do just fine without it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But of course, vibrato, if you can do it, that's also kind of like a sign of, I don't want to say like good technique, but like
it can be viewed as that though. Even if that's not the case on a technical level.
Yeah.
It can be viewed as like, oh, they're a singer because they have vibrato.
Yes.
They have the thing that singers do.
Yes. And so in pop music, it's still, when I say pop, I just mean contemporary in general.
Yeah.
Right? That's country, that's R&B, that's soul, that's whatever, right?
Yeah.
Rock. And so anyways, it's still there, but it's not nearly as common. So if you are a contemporary singer, just know that vibrato is not the end all be all. And it's okay if it's currently not happening. That doesn't make you any less of a singer. But we're going to teach you how to do it. And also, I just want to say this real quick. In musical theater school, because again, like if you heard me talk about my journey in musical theater, like I never felt like I belonged in musical theater. And I mean, I still don't. But anyways, they called me the straight tone queen in musical theater because I could not do vibrato.
Interesting.
At all until I went to musical theater school, where I learned how to like let go a little bit and not be so squeezy and so all the time.
Yeah.
I was still doing that. Don't get me wrong. But we were also singing like, when I marry Mr. Snow. And that's a little bit headier. Yes. Yeah. And so there, you know, you can do, like it was much easier for me to do vibrato there. Yeah. But on a belt, like vibrato on a belt or a mixed belt, no chance.
And it is much harder because getting into how it's made, right? Like it's a belt is like a higher intensity. You have more pressure going on, right? And to simplify. And it's going to be a lot harder. Vibrato is very tension release forward, right? You got to be super relaxed. That's not the case for everyone who has vibrato, right? But often if you're struggling to find it, let's see, are you dealing with some jaw tension? Is your jaw grabbing? Is your tongue really tight? Is your neck squeezing? You know, all of those things, check in with that. That's going to help. Like that sounds like that's how you unlocked your vibrato. And a lighter vocal production with more airflow.
Yeah.
Yeah. More airflow. We're not going to like, right? That's a little too much to get what we want. But instead of when I marry Mr. Snow, right?
It then sounds a little bit more natural and a little bit less forced.
Exactly. Which is, that also gets into like, you can force vibrato, but that's the kind that, and I never say that things sound bad, but that's the kind that sounds bad. That is not the aesthetically pleasing or the thing that we listen for.
Yeah.
When it comes to vibrato. I think that's also why it's a sign, like it's often viewed as a sign of good technique, because in order to do it, right, you have air flowing and you're relaxed.
Yeah, the tension's gone.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's not too much compression in your vocal folds, all of the above.
Exactly. But you can still have those things and not be producing vibrato. There aren't a lot of studies on it. Can't study it on a living person, you know, which is a big challenge. Well, we were talking about this yesterday, and I don't really know why.
Why can't we study this on a living person? Why can't we study
it on a living person? We were theorizing that maybe because of the view that we need from the camera, that it can't go in the way that scopes typically do. Weird. Someone fact check me.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, we're just theorizing here at this point.
I just read it. I was talking to you I just read a study. It was like a case study, so it was on like 1 or 2 people. Yeah. And it was really just measuring airflow versus vibrato, or how vibrato's made in regards to airflow. And it was like 17% more airflow was helping with You need 17% more airflow when you're doing vibrato versus a straight tone.
Interesting.
For this one mezzo soprano.
Yeah.
That's how it was measured.
Yeah.
And what also came with that was a little more volume. So it wasn't pushing, a little more loudness. It wasn't because that takes a lot of it's in head voice, so it doesn't feel squeezy, right? But it's taking a little bit more effort to get there. But you can do it. It might be a little bit harder. That's the most natural for me.
Interesting. My brain is going in a million different places all at the same time. Can we talk about a couple tips to unlock vibrato? Like if people are struggling, I would say my number one tip is just pretend like you're a silly opera singer.
Yeah. Yes. Get out of your head about it.
Yeah.
And just get into your body.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Just like, right, just like,
I love it. Well, another thing is we're demonstrating all of our vibrato and head voice right now. You know, this morning or today. Which doesn't mean that it's exclusively limited to, but that you got to find your key to the door.
Yes.
Right? You got to find your way in. I think head voice, because it is a lighter vocal production, an easier key in.
Yeah. I usually do that with students, like if they're struggling to get into a vibrato. I'm like, let's try it in head voice first, because your head voice, I usually say this, like your chest voice is the source of power, your head voice is the source of flexibility. So if we are up in head voice, because we're more flexible, more agile, it's easier for the vocal folds to kind of go between the pitches, to get you that shake in your voice.
Yes, and that's another thing to practice. Alternating pitches is not the end all be all of learning vibrato, but if that's something you struggle with in general, it could be helpful.
So that would be like a right?
I would do that and then speed it up as fast as you can.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, bouncing off that, doing it a cappella, I recommend, and doing it smaller than a half step. So instead of just until you get there. It won't happen that fast if you don't have vibrato right this moment and you try to do that.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee anything, but I can probably say 99% sure that won't happen. But just start with the alternating, start with the flexibility, start with the control of it all. That's my biggest tip. Oh, and just try it.
Yeah.
Try it. It's actually it's so
sorry, but it's not that deep. It's something you always say.
Yeah, it's not that deep. You probably can do it.
Yeah, just try it.
Yeah, I feel like we're always in the voice community. Singer, I think in the early singer community, early to like intermediate singer community, right? Like there is an obsession with doing things right. I got to do it right because there's so much out there. There's so much information out there, that's great. We live in this time of like really accessible stuff.
Yeah.
But also just try it. Trying to shake your voice, trying to do a little bit of vibrato is not going to like put you under, you know, like you're going to be just fine if it happens or if it sounds bad to you or whatever. But just try it. I've had people where like we workshop, and then I'm like, just try it. Yeah. And then they're like,
They're like, what is your problem?
Okay, so we didn't need to alternate first.
Yes.
Yes. You do that one time, and then you start every other vibrato session with, why don't you try it first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But that's my biggest tip.
Just try it.
Same goes for like everything for me.
Pretty much. Just get out of your head and just give it a shot and don't judge yourself. If it doesn't work,
who cares how it sounds?
Yeah.
Who cares?
We're just exploring.
Yeah.
That's how you become a great singer.
Yes.
By just trying and just exploring and just going for it. And failing a million times.
Fail forward. Fail forward. That's the key to harmony. Singing it wrong and being like, that does not sound good.
Yes.
Like, what I am doing does not mix. And then you adjust what you're doing. Yeah. I talk to my students all the time about, there are just so many little vocal stims I do around the house. So I'll be like,
yeah.
Or like, to the point where my girlfriend's like, I need like 1 minute.
Just like, please shut up.
But I just like always experimenting with my voice consciously and and like not consciously.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helps you grow as a singer.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, just experimenting, playing. We are gifted with this instrument, you know, like might as well
have free.
For free.
You don't even have to buy the instrument.
It's freaking guitar. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Okay, so we have imitate an opera singer. Yes. We have just try it.
Bouncing back and forth between the notes.
Different notes.
Increasing and decreasing your airflow.
Yep.
See, try it like with a ton of air. Try it with no air after a. It might be a little harder, or if that might be your key. Find your key to unlock the door.
Yeah, and that's like head voice, right?
Yes,
like if it's higher in pitch, try that. It's usually a little bit easier, but it's different for everybody. Try it in head voice. Releasing tension. So releasing tension if you like shake your head a little bit.
Shake your head not to go but to shake your head to release the back of your neck.
Also, keep your jaw still. Like vibrato doesn't come from opening and closing your jaw. Yes. Okay. It's a pitch alteration, not a manipulation of the vocal tract.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're not because
Yes.
you hear it. You hear what that sounds like.
But talking about movement and shaking and keeping the jaw still, if you just shake your hand while you do vibrato, like just somehow that physical connection helps.
I think that there is some sort of and maybe I'll do a study on it.
Yeah.
But there is and I'm sure it has been done as well, but a kinesthetic connection between what you do with your hands and what your voice does. You know, we were talking about like pressing your hands together, the firmer you want to get, and then taking them apart. There is something that is like when I apply pressure here, it's telling my voice what I want it to do.
Yeah.
And I think it can be similar with that.
Yeah, just like a little shaking. But like not a like super controlled kind of shake, but just kind of like just flapping around.
Yeah, it's probably part of that release.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm releasing here, release here.
Yeah, just release.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it. Release to like let the vibrato out. And that's why when you're like holding a note, like in musical theater, right, where it's like straight tone, I think you even hear Whitney Houston do it sometimes, like, and right?
Yeah,
Straight and then into vibrato. It opens
everywhere.
up.
Yeah.
Right? It gives you that release.
Yes.
And how you said earlier too, vibrato like is perceived like louder, like
Yes.
more powerful because of that release.
Yes.
And you can hear that when you're going from straight tone into vibrato. It's just that it just opens up.
Yeah,
right?
it does. Even like, instead of, when the rain is falling in your face, when the rain is falling in your face. You know, it doesn't have to be, I did a little extra there, but you can throw it in just for that little extra color.
Oh yes, of course. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be the big, powerful kind of
Yes.
vibrato. Okay, so this I guess this kind of goes into the different kinds of vibrato.
Yeah, different
so
types.
I made this up. So this is not science, okay? I made this up. My two kinds of vibrato are the drama vibrato and the mood setting vibrato. So the drama vibrato is the and right, like on the big notes, you're going into vibrato there, just to like add that extra power, like the extra drama. That's the drama vibrato. And the mood setting vibrato is what you just did in the like, if I... right, like it's in the verse, it's softer, and it's just kind of like softer, it's just and it's like easy going, right? So those are like my two kinds of vibrato, the mood setting and the drama vibrato.
I love that. Yeah, from like a stylistic point of view, because that
Yes.
mood setting is what you're going to use in jazz, right? Like stormy weather and my man and I ain't
Yes.
together. Right? Since my man and I ain't together. Right now
Yeah.
we're taking it out of where the style you're singing comes from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that opens up a whole thing. Is it coming from Western classical or is it coming from early Black American music?
Yeah.
That, you know, keeps going back. But like that mood setting vibrato, I would say sounds like it comes from those early Black American music styles.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Like the 40s, 50s, where it is it's very intentional in specific ways. Even if it wasn't intentional for them then, if they were like, this is what my voice does. And I think maybe that's why it feels so mood setting, because it's so just like, this is what my voice does. This is how I communicate musically, where the Western classical is like, we are going to be perfect. We are going to be pretty.
Yeah.
And we're here to entertain you, which has its place as well. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting.
What are you're more sciencey. So like, what are the actual different kinds of vibratos?
Yeah.
Not the ones that I made up.
So there's your like average airflow vibrato. That's your hey. That's how it sounds in my voice, right? Then there is a wobble, which is a wider gap in pitches and a slower vibrato that's often going to show up in older singers.
Okay.
That can also be adjusted.
Okay. Cool.
I would say with a little bit of tension release, actually more tension release.
Yeah.
and a little bit more airflow, and articulation practice.
Ooh, okay.
But that would sound like, hey. You hear how it kind of like da 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 da. I have to do a little compression to get that going. And the other kind is the faster vibrato. It's called flutter. I'll demonstrate best I can, but a great example is Ben Platt. Mm-hmm. Waving, like it's super fast, and it doesn't.
Was me when I first unlocked my vibrato. It was super fast.
Yeah,
super fast.
Yeah.
So that goes into now like manipulating the speed of your vibrato. Is that possible? That's usually a question that I get in singing lessons too.
Yeah. And it is. It totally is. It totally is. I think it's easier to speed it up than to slow it down. But it'll just take a little bit of practice. It's just practicing what you want to do.
Yeah.
If again with if you're working with wobble and you don't want wobble.
Yeah.
I really prioritize articulation work, especially in older singers. Getting the tongue moving separate from the jaw, all of that tongue release, jaw release, everything moving the head around for release. And using a little bit more airflow. For flutter, I'll actually use a little bit less airflow.
Ooh, okay.
Because there's probably not
like if you want to do flutter or if you want to get out of flutter.
If you want to do flutter, more. If you want to get out of flutter, less.
So if you want to do a faster vibrato, more air.
More air.
If you want to slow it down, a little less air.
A little less air.
Okay.
And I also find that to do flutter, it's easier to pull the volume back. If that's not what your natural vibrato is, it's easier to pull the volume back and start there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, for me personally, like even when I started voice lessons, like before I went to the musical theater school, I was taking voice lessons for 7 years. And I went to school without a vibrato. So if you are currently frustrated because you've been singing forever and you still can't do vibrato, it's okay.
It's okay.
Like I couldn't do it either. And you just need to find the right combination.
Yeah.
It's like unlocking a lock.
Yes.
You know, it's a little like, ooh, what exactly needs to work together? What's the combination?
Get your foot in the door and then adjust it. So if you finally unlock your vibrato and it's not the sound that you want it to be, just stay there for a second. Just stay in it for just a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And then eventually, the more comfortable you get with it, right? Don't try to change it while it's still in process. Unless it's physically uncomfortable, obviously.
Well, that's
not what we're going for.
Yeah.
But just let your body learn, like, oh, this is safe for me to do.
Yeah.
I can do this. Yeah.
It's also funny to see how sometimes, like, with students, when I tell them, like, just keep holding the note and try not the vibrato, and if it's not coming, it doesn't matter. Just keep holding the note. And then at the very end, right as they're running out of breath, it comes in.
And that's why you experiment with the amount of air that you use. Because for some people you need more, and for some you just need to take all the air out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To start.
Yeah. It's interesting. Every voice is different, of course. But yeah, I think we covered a lot of like different things that you can try to get that vibrato to come out. I just want to circle back real quick to when to use vibrato, particularly in songs. Yeah, we talked about like in the different genres.
Yeah.
And in contemporary, it's actually really not that much at all. Like I do a lot of like style breakdowns where I talk about these are the tones that were used and these were in the embellishments that were used. And in contemporary stuff, like very rarely am I like, and there's the vibrato. It's just like every so often it pops in, but not that often. I want to talk about when to use vibrato, specifically in contemporary music. So pop, rock, country, soul, R&B, funk, all of the above, right? So when should or could singers use vibrato without like going over the top? Because then you're going to sound like a classical singer or a musical theater singer trying to sound pop.
Yeah.
And we don't want that, right? I want you to sound like a contemporary singer singing contemporary music. So what are some of your tips for when to use vibrato?
So when we're in a musical theater style, I think of vibrato as like the bow on top. It's the last step. It's typically the end of the phrase. This is generally, right?
Yeah.
In contemporary music, the vibrato is not really in that spot. Like, yes, Whitney Houston does it a little bit. Celine Dion will do it a little bit in the drama vibrato of it all. Yeah. Right? But in the mood setting vibrato, I love those terms. I'm totally grabbing them.
I love it.
In the mood setting vibrato, like, don't know why there's no sun up in the sky, stormy weather, right? Instead of don't know why there's no sun up in the sky, stormy weather. I'm using it as a very specific sort of like wind chime effect, why I'm doing, it's part of the embellishment that I'm doing. It's not the only thing that's going on.
Yes.
It's for a very specific musical reason.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I think my biggest tip for understanding when to use vibrato is just listen to some of your favorite singers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then see what they're doing.
You're going to pick up on a pattern.
Yep. And you're going to see, it's not that much.
Yeah. It's not that much. Yeah, that's my other thing. You think of your bass line in contemporary music as straight tones.
Yes.
And then you add vibrato.
100%.
Where you want a little life, or you're like, this feels tonally flat, not pitch flat.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, hold on. Okay. Two thoughts.
Yeah.
One, like when you just said tonally flat, actually sometimes I use vibrato to get me up there, to give me a little bit of that release.
Release and airflow.
Yes, in that, like belty range where I'm like, because I am just a chronic going flatter person, going flat personer, whatever.
I got something on that. Yeah. So Coach Kate and I, we're talking. I said, girl, what do you know about vibrato? Because there's like not much out there. And she's like, no, not much. But there are some theories that it's the toggle between your CT and your TA, your cricothyroid head voice muscle and your thyroretinoid chest voice muscle. Yeah. And it's stimulated by the vagus nerve.
Shoot. Okay.
So
cool.
Sounds like the M buzzword, the mix word.
Yeah.
And it sounds like when you were talking about that, it helps because it gives you a release intention, or you need a release intention to get there. You're using more airflow and you're mixing more.
Yeah.
Because you've talked about being a chronic chesty guy. Yeah.
Chest puller upper.
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, yes. It makes me more mixy. And so it lifts me all the way up to the pitch.
Yeah.
Love. So yeah, I do that sometimes when I'm like trying to belt a note and I'm like, I'm going under. Add a little bit of vibrato to give me that lift. But at that point, like, you need to be able to do vibrato.
Yes, but it's interesting. Now you're using the elements to get vibrato to help a straight tone.
Yes.
Right? Instead of the opposite, which is like maybe how you started.
Yeah.
It's that muscle memory of being like I know if I'm going to hold a plank, my abs are engaging, my glutes are engaging, and I'm trying to be flat.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, have my posture and I'm like this, and I'm like, then I just think about holding a plank and I engage that way, it adjusts everything. So it's like the reverse of like, well, when you first learning to plank, it's like, all right, put your butt down. Don't lean back. Okay, engage. And then eventually you can use that muscle memory to assist you in other areas.
I love that. Yes. Woo! You are just full of wisdom and good analogies.
And opinions.
But those opinions are always good ones. So
I'll take it.
I love it. Okay. I think that pretty much sums it up about vibrato. I think the biggest takeaway is if you are a contemporary singer, it ain't that important.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep?
It's not that
deep. Quote by Coach Emily, it's not that deep. We're going to put that on a t-shirt.
Not that deep.
Not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that important in contemporary singing. Yeah. And vibrato comes from a release.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah.
You're releasing.
Yeah. Start with release, playing around, experiment with your voice. Yeah. And you'll get there.
Yeah.
There are people I worked with for 3 years, 2 years they couldn't do vibrato. And then one day they were like, I was singing in my kitchen and it happened.
Yeah,
and then
because they weren't thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like, because you were probably the most released that you've ever been. You weren't like, I'm singing now.
Yes,
that we could do an episode on that.
Yeah, very much so. Oh my gosh, the mind and singing is just, why are we sabotaging ourselves?
We do it everywhere, but it's so because our little itty bitty muscles are like, okay, fine, I'll give up.
Yeah,
it's like no.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, this is super helpful. I'm learning stuff too. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, of course.
And you have now the mood setting vibratos.
Now I have the mood setting and the drama. I love it.
I love that. So fun. Hope this was helpful to everybody listening or watching. If you have any questions, shoot us a message on Instagram at VoxTape Studios. If you want to work with us, you can book a session through the link below. We'd love to help you out with your voice, whether that's vibrato or anything else, really. Yeah. We're here to help as long as it's a classical. We don't do classical.
We don't do well, maybe Brie can help.
Yeah, maybe Brie can help, but that's not really what we specialize in. So, contemporary, we got you, baby. Alrighty. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Coach Emily.
Thank you.
We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.